All right, hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome to another Team Set It Off team call. I'm so excited for you all here. Oh, there's Kelly. I was like, because this is going to be recorded, so whatever you're doing right now, you better smile and act like you're happy and you're having fun. But today's team call, I'm going to get straight to the content because I am doing something different today. I am recording myself live on my like page. So you have a couple different options to watch the replay. Of course, I'll put this on YouTube. And if you are watching the replay, thank you so much. I know one person commented yesterday that they're like, I watch the replays. So it's greatly appreciated when people actually tune in because I do put a lot of my heart and soul into these calls. So it'd be nice if people actually tune in. So I'm going to do my screen share. Screen share. Okay. And then we'll get the slides. So if you're watching this on my like page, sorry, you don't get the slides. You'll just hear me talk. Okay. Presentation mode. So official. Oh no, hold on. Hold on. Okay. My super awesome presentation skills. 7 steps to lasting change. September 20th, 2016. I can't believe I've been doing team calls for like 2 years now. So let's start off with the most important thing, recognition. I think it's important to recognize everyone for their hard effort. Success Club is one of those things that it's not an easy feat. It's something that I want to start making more of a big deal because to me, it's not about the numbers. It's about the heart and the hustle and the follow through and the discipline. And it's like this chart that I'm showing here where you're setting goals. They're specific, they're measurable, they're attainable, they're relevant, they're time bound. And I hope that a lot of this content that I'm going to deliver to you today will help give you that extra edge that maybe you wanted to help identify so that you can reach your goals. Because I think I know every single one of us has what it takes to be successful in whatever field we're doing. But specifically to Success Club, there is no reason why you can't be hitting Success Club. You are greatness. You have so much to give. You have so much to contribute back to this world, more so than just you posting your own journey, that you can truly mentor and help and inspire people to make that investment and believe in themselves. Because Lord knows everybody's going out and buying a damn iPhone 7, but they can't spend $140 on themselves to make themselves healthier and happier. So Success Club, just going to run down it. So far we have Jamie, Ayana, Crystal, Jeanette, Erica, Whitney, Shantice, Keisha, Lynette, and Enyika. Hopefully I said that right. Probably didn't. Sorry, girlfriend, if you watch this. Kelly, Anna, Noella, and then me. And the people that have hit Success Club so far this month, they've actually helped 3 people or more. Crystal, of course, our own superstar. I feel like making her sign something and sending it to me in the mail. Super excited, super jazzed for her to be on a call with us on Thursday for those of us that hit Success Club last month. It's a special little gift, and I'm going to start lining people up for our special call next month for those of you that hit Success Club this month. There's so many months, but basically if you hit Success Club this month, you're going to get a call with a special guest to be announced. But our special guest this week is Crystal. And then Whitney, Shantice, but Shantice is Whitney's coach and Whitney is Crystal's coach. So amazing job. And then I've hit Success Club. So that's exciting. Okay, let's get straight to the content. All right, so step 1. So these are 7 steps, okay? And I really hope, because smart people take notes, that I really hope you have a notebook out and you have a piece of paper, because like I did last week, I would really love, and by really love, I mean you should be, you must, not should, you must take action while we're doing these calls. I know I've played a lot around with this kind of stuff, and listening to Tony Robbins, he has a lot of call to actions, like when I'm listening to it. So he'll have you stop the tape and write things down and really get your thoughts on paper and start taking immediate action. So we're going to have some implementation time during this call. And then if you're, no one's watching live right now, but if people are watching live, then they can do some implementation time as well. Okay. So step one is to get disturbed. Do you remember that band Disturbed? Get down with the sickness. My dad like blasted that song. But anyways, that's what that word reminds me of. But basically, step one is to get disturbed. And what he means by that is you have to get mad, you have to get upset, and you have to get real with yourself. Because most people, the reason why they haven't reached their goals is because they're living in the land of someday. And he says the road of someday leads to the town of nowhere. Because you're not going to wake up one day and then all of a sudden be super motivated to make huge changes in your life. You have to be intentional. And what's the quickest way to make ourselves take action? It's to get away from pain, to be real with it, right? A lot of the things that we take immediate action on is because it's associated with great, great, great pain. So you have to get mad, you have to get upset, and you have to get real with yourself. And to understand that practicing discipline isn't, most people associate discipline with a lack of freedom. That you're missing out on stuff, that you won't be able to have or do certain things. But discipline really is freedom and power to achieving the things that you want in your life. Not just achieving, but being that person. We've talked a lot about this concept, but repetition is the mother of skill. And even me, I have to hear things, 50,000 times before they really sink in. And then even then, I still need to hear it. So the biggest thing that I've learned through my journey is through, personal development and growing myself, is that you have to become in order to do, in order to have. So a lot of people are like, I'll see it or I'll believe it when I see it. And they live in that kind of mind state. But for us, to get real changes, you really have to become that person that you want to be before you can have the things that type of person has. It's the same reason, like if you've worked a job, I'm sure we've all worked jobs, right? But like getting a promotion or getting a raise, normally you get those things because you're doing the job of someone that earns that dollar amount. Does that make sense? Hope that makes sense. So downfall number one, why people don't take action, is because we spend a lot of time rationalizing why we haven't achieved our goals. You want to know why? Because pain hurts, and we don't like to feel pain. And so we will rationalize why we haven't achieved certain things. And so a big thing that people do is they tell a story to themselves, and they give a reason why it's okay that they're not at a certain level that they want to be at. And it's normally something like, yeah, I know I should, but, and then like they continue on with the reason why they're not there. And so I want you to think, as we're talking about that downfall of rationalizing, what are some most common things you don't do? And why is that? Why don't you do them? Rationalizing it. And that the thing that's joined with that is the softeners. So the softeners, when people say, it's really not that bad, or you compare your story to someone that's way like worse off, like, well, at least I'm not homeless or something like that. At least I'm not 500 pounds. Or you'll be like, I'm doing better than I was before. And, we say a lot of these things in our own head, and we build these cases because we don't want to feel bad. We don't want to feel bad. We don't want to feel pain. And so we will rationalize and use softeners in our lives to distract ourselves or to make ourselves feel better that we have settled for less than what we really want. And the antidote to all of that is to get honest with yourself. what happens when you start to feel all this pain? Right? What do most people do? They run away and distract themselves, and they do more work. They do stuff in their day job. They do things with their kids. They, or the obvious, they go and drink, they go and gamble, they go and online shop, they go sit on Netflix for like 3 hours. Like, we try to distract ourselves, and it's ingrained in our culture. I mean, obviously there is a reason why we don't want to feel pain, because it sucks, but pain's a good thing. Pain is your friend. Pain lets you know that something needs to change, right? Like if you fell down and cut your arm open and you didn't feel pain, there wouldn't be this immediate need for you to go to the hospital and get it stitched and sewed up, right? Like pain's your friend. Pain lets you know, oh my gosh, this isn't right. Like something needs to give. And when you practice self-honesty and really use I know I preach about self-love and be kind to yourself, but this step gives you leverage. And when Tony talks about it in The Ultimate Edge, which you guys have access to all this stuff I'm teaching you, by the way. This is in part 3, and it's, I think I put it like day 1, and it's part 1 and part 2. This is all the type of stuff that I'm teaching you from there. But he gave he gave these examples of like, if you need to lose weight and you're like, well, I'm only a little overweight, or, oh, it's okay, summer's just around the corner, or, oh, it's okay, it's the fall time, I can layer up, it's not that bad, I'm okay. He's like, no, you need to do something crazy. You need to rip off your clothes and stare at your body parts that are making you upset, and you need to get hella honest with yourself, because without that big pressure point, it's like when I got a deep tissue massage and he's got his elbow in my back and he's just running it along, and he waits until he found that point in my back where it was like, like I couldn't breathe, and then he stayed there. This is your pressure point. This is where you have to get to. So the analogy that he gave that I really liked, that, because, things don't have to, be rock bottom for you to need a change. The biggest thing that we do is we end up settling because sometimes we look around and the people around us or the environment that we're in, and we're like doing good. Like we're from the outside looking in, we're okay. You know what I mean? But like when you sit down with yourself and you really think and you really get real with yourself, for me, this is why I'm talking to you guys today. This is why I'm a full-time Beachbody coach, because I had this moment of self-honesty. Mine took me meeting a top 10 coach and having Chalene Johnson ask me how my business is going, but I kind of knew this already deep down inside, that like, I just knew I wasn't living to my full potential. And I was trying to convince myself that things were okay, that I was doing good, that like, look at me, I'm doing so much better than I was 3 years ago. I'm no longer broke. I have a good job. I have a respectable job. Like I'm still teaching classes. Like I'm happy. This is good. I should be happy. But when I really got honest with myself, I knew that I was missing it. Like I knew I was missing my full potential. And so it's your level, it's your peak, it's you. It has nothing to do with anybody else except you. And that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? Like when I word things on social media and I talk about my story, sometimes I'm like worried that I'm going to offend people or, but nobody ever really talks shit to me. So I don't know what I have to be worried about. But sometimes I think, especially with my fitness journey right now in this moment, that I'm really good. And this is normally when I will back off and take it a little bit easy because I have abs right now. I look great. I've lost 10 pounds. I've lost, double digit inches and I'm feeling good, but for me, this just isn't good enough because I know my history and I know that this, like, I don't want to get to my ideal body and only stay there for like 3 weeks and then like repeat the cycle all over again. I want to look like this and even more better than this. I have my idea in my head of how I want to look, and I don't really give a shit if it offends people or if other people think it's too skinny or if it's not realistic. To me, I know I've been there and I got there a healthy way. one time, and I kept it there for like 3 weeks. But you know, I don't know, like, and I feel like I'm even kind of trying to explain to you guys on the call why, like, I'm still not like, I'm happy with myself, but I'm not going to settle. Like, I know my full potential of what I want to look like physically. And I know for me, this transcends, like, if I can take care of myself physically, I know that I can discipline myself in this business and I can help more people, and I'll be proof the products work, and I'll be walking my walk. And to me, my body equals my paycheck. Like, if I don't take care of myself, if I don't make this a priority, baby, I ain't getting paid. So I'll leave you with this disturbed step, is that Tony gave this example of a basketball coach. It's college basketball. I don't watch college basketball, so I apologize. I don't know the name or anything, but he's somebody that's kind of a legend, and he's like one of the only coaches that's won like the most championships. And Tony sat down and asked him, hey, you know, you've won so many of these championships, like, what's your thought process? Like, I'm getting a call. He was like, what's your thought process? You know, do you think about winning? And the coach was like, you know, actually, I don't. That's not my focus. My focus is for every single one of my players to live in their truth. He's like, I want them to be honest with themselves, because when they go out into that basketball court and they play that game and the game ends, only they will truly know if they won or if they lost. And it will not be reflective of whatever's on the scoreboard, but it will be reflective of them knowing, did they give their all? Did they put their blood, sweat, and tears into it? Because according to Tony, he says, what you give, you get to keep. And so if you know deep down inside that wasn't your best effort, you didn't do as much as you possibly could have, you know, you have to live with that. And in relation to what we do as coaches, you know, whatever with Success Club points, like, only you will know, did you give your all? Did you talk to as many people as you possibly could have? You know, were you following the programs? Were you doing everything that you possibly could have done? This is self-honesty time. This is the stuff that a lot of us don't like to do because it causes pain. It's very uncomfortable. But this is your power. This is going to give you that leverage to make a change and really, like, decide from this point forward, you will not live this way anymore. You all have that point if you're on this call. I guarantee it. You all had a point in your journey, because you all decided to become coaches, that when you initially started your fitness journey with us, with a group, with a challenge group, there was something that happened to you that you decided, no more. Not again. I'm done with this. It could have been you putting on a pair of pants. It could have been you looking in the mirror. It could have been you seeing yourself in a photo, you know, or it could be the fact that you were like tired of taking naps all the time. I mean, I don't know what it was, but you know that there was something that caused a lot of pain, and you decided in that moment, you made a split-second decision that you weren't going to live that way anymore. And then you just so happened to have the stars align, and you know, and then you aligned yourself with your coach that ended up putting you on this path that you're on today. So I'm going to give you a minute. This is your activity. So you're going to take out your notepad, and you are going to write down, what are some common rationalizations you use to avoid taking action? What are some things you say to yourself that keep you from taking action on your goals? So you can do that now, and I will do that for myself. Okay, I hope that you got just a couple. I guarantee you, I will bet my money on it that one of your things had to do with time. Had to do something with time. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm too busy. Something to do with time. And I just want you to know, this is what Tony says about time. Time is the only thing in humanity that is equal. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. You know, we may not have the same education, the same skill sets, the same backgrounds, you know, but the thing that we have that is the same is the amount of time that we have per day. So when people use the excuse that they don't have enough time, that's a crock of shit. So the next thing you're going to write it down is what makes you disturbed. I wish I could talk like Tony. He has such crazy vocal inflections, but what is making you disturbed in your life? What are you disturbed about, my friend? Remember, pain is your friend. We'll put this to good use. I'm not going to take you to a shitty place and leave you there. But I want you to think about what is making you what are you upset about right now? What is making you angry? With your business, with your body, with your finances, with your relationships. You know, think about it. And I don't want you to soften it. Make it angry. Make it powerful. Get some emotion behind it. Like, my ass is too fat right now. Like, you know, you could get real with it, right? Okay, I hope you wrote down some things that are making you disturbed, because we're going to put them to good use, my friends. Okay, step 2. We're going to get specific and we're going to figure out your why. So this is part of Tony's RPM plan, which has a lot of acronyms, but the first 2 that we're going to talk about from RPM is results focused and purpose driven. This is his rapid planning method. So you know what most people do? They live in a pressure cooker for change, and this is called unconscious change. And what most people end up doing the 7 steps to change, but this is what normally happens. People normally get in an immense amount of pain. Okay, things are so bad. They are like, they can't ignore it anymore. It is so painful to live in that place that they are forced to take some action. Step 2, they take some action, they do what it takes, and then step 3, they start to get results. But then what happens is that they start to get results. So step 4 happens and the pain reduces. Step 5 ultimately happens and they lose their drive because they're not experiencing as much pain as they were before. So then therefore, step 6, they stop taking the same actions that they were taking before. And ultimately, step 7, they get themselves right back to where they started. I can tell you the thing that comes first to my mind when I think about this is my fitness journey. I don't know, I can't tell you how many times I've done the pressure cooker to myself, where I work really, really, like, I get so mad at myself. I'm so out of control. My pants aren't fitting. My shorts feel like they're like giving me a permanent wedgie, and I'm like, no more. And I just get committed, and I commit to a program, and I take a bunch of action, and I start to lose weight, and I start to look really good, in fact, that I don't feel as much pain as I did before, and I start to take it for granted. So therefore I stop. I give myself a break because I'm like, oh, well, you know, balance, you guys, like 80-20, treat yourself 80% of the time, 20% work hard. And I get in that mindset. So therefore I stop doing the things that got me there in the first place. And then ultimately I end up right back at square one. And I've done this. I've done this with my fitness. I've done this with my cooking business, my coaching business. And it's what most people do. And I'm sure you can identify a couple things in your life that you've done that with as well. So we're going to break that cycle of unconscious change, and we're going to focus on the result that we want. Not just like what you should be doing. You know, when you write a to-do list and you ask yourself, what do I need to do, or what should I be doing? You're setting yourself up for failure. You know, you're starting in this place of just focusing on activities rather than looking at the bigger picture and figuring out what's the result that you ultimately want. Like if you wanted to lose 20 pounds and then you decided that on your to-do list, you're going to run 20 miles a day, and you get to mile 2 and you can't even keep going, and you stop and then you quit and you feel like a failure, you know, that wasn't, your goal wasn't to run 20 miles. Your goal was to lose 20 pounds. But oftentimes people get mixed up in giving so much power to the activity that if you don't do that specific activity, then you're a failure. So if you just step back and figure it out, okay, what kind of results do you want? Like what are your specific results, and have them measurable. So if you are going to say something like, I want to be a diamond, that's just a wish, you know? It's like saying, I want to lose weight. And so then, you know, here, take a pound and get out of here, right? Or I want to make money. Here's $1, get out of here, right? If you're not specific, then you won't be able to get the intended results that you want. So, and it should kind of scare you a little bit, you know, but that's okay. That's good. It means we haven't done it before. There's a biochemical response, neurological response when we do things we've never done before. It's fight or flight, right? We feel like almost like we're going to die because we've never done it before. But the good news is that that's to be expected, and that's exciting. It means you're challenging and you're growing, and that's one of the 6 basic human needs in the entire, no matter where you live, no matter what culture you come from, we have all 6 basic human needs as a human, and the need for growth is one of them. So if you want to be a diamond, then don't just say that you want to be a diamond. Say, I want to be a diamond by Halloween, or give your date, right? Give it power, make it specific, make it measurable, right? And then you start to think about your why. So you start building a case for yourself. I want you to imagine like you are actually going to go to a judge and you're going to plead your case for the result that you want. Like if your result is I want to lose 20 pounds by the end of this year, and you go up to the judge and you're giving a case for yourself, and he's like, hey, well, why do you want to lose 20 pounds by the end of this year? And you just start listing out all the things that come to your mind. Like, you know, and it's the good, it's the bad, it's everything. It's your why, right? And this is what we talk about when we talk about coaching, and why this is so important, because this is going to keep you going, because you're going to face obstacles. You're going to have opponents that come in. But when you know crystal clear what you want specifically and why you want it, oh, baby, it doesn't matter how long it takes. It's just like Kristen was on the call with me first, and she's, you know, talking about how she's, I think are you in your doctorate program or your master's? Anyways, she's very, very smart, and she's going to school right now. And so her end result is that she's gonna graduate. Right? So, you know, for some people, when they go to college and they go, I'm going to graduate, and they know why they're going to graduate. Oh, it's because of this, and it's because of that, and I want to do this, and I envision this, and blah, 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 blah. Then it doesn't matter, you know, if her kids get sick, or if she's super tired or super busy, or some life happens and she has to take a break for a quarter, right? Like, she knows that she's going to do that. Like, she's going to do that. And so it allows you to weather the storm, right, of your own life. And the opponents that you're going to have are external, internal, and then also intimate people that know you. It's very strange. Like, the people that are very closest to us have a really weird way of showing how much they love and support us. You know, if you're doing something you've never done before, they won't really understand why you're putting yourself through that, you know? So sometimes you're battling life, you're battling your own old stories, you've told yourself your own belief systems, and then you're battling the people that love you, right? But you have to know where you're going. It's like putting a destination in your GPS. You are going to get there. Come whatever, you're going to get there. So your activity for right now, from what you just wrote down, Your activity is that you're going to write down the exact specific measurable results you want in your business or other areas in your life. It is a coach call. So I don't want to just inspire you to maybe someday, maybe try to invite some people to your next challenge group, or to maybe someday commit to a program from start to finish, or maybe someday to participate more in our team culture, or do a challenge group yourself. So I want you to implement. So take some action right now. I'm going to write down 2. Write down the exact specific measurable results you want in your business or other areas of your life. If something's just screaming at you, if something's calling from your soul, calling from your body, that you're like, oh, I need to take care of that, write that down too. And then build a case for them. Why do you want that? How will it make you feel when you accomplish that goal? And get specific. So we're going to do it now. Take some action right now. Okay. Step 3. Map your massive action. RPM, results focused, purpose driven, massive action, the rapid planning method. So this is, if you're familiar with Chalene Johnson, this is kind of like doing reverse engineering. And so this step is in that mindset of like, whatever it takes. People often ask, oh, well, how many people do I need to talk to per day? And how many people should I be inviting? And blah, 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 blah. I could tell you, I could just give you a number so you feel good about it. But in reality, whatever it takes, the power of now, you need some momentum on your side. Like the magic of momentum, often the hardest thing about anything that we do is just getting started. It's really hard to make ourselves do something, but you just need to get into state. It's that same reason that with those days that we don't want to work out, or when you're first starting your fitness journey, that if you just told yourself, okay, I'm just going to put on my workout gear, I'm going to turn on the TV, and I'm just going to start it, right? And you could be fighting it for the first 5 minutes, but what happens when you start to get in motion, you tend to what? Stay in motion, right? And so when you don't take action, what do you tend to do? You stay at that same level, right? There's got to be a breaking point. And so the best thing that you can do for yourself is figure out an action you could take immediately, because if we think that in order to hit Success Club, it has to look like X, Y, and Z, I have to do these things on my to-do list, or I'm a failure. And so if you can't do all of them, then you're like, well, why even bother doing any of them? I can't even do these things. So I'm just whatever, and I'm speaking like this because that's what I say. I'm like, oh, it's like 8 p.m. I'm whatever. I won't do my invites. I'll just do it tomorrow. But the thing is that like, even if I did 2 invites, oh my God, it'd be so much more than doing nothing, right? And once I start talking to people, it becomes addictive. I don't know why I'm so scared to reach out to people or start conversations or whatever. Because once I'm doing it, I get into state. I get in this emotional state that I'm just like, I love this. I love talking to people. I love learning about them, and So the biggest thing that we can do is just take immediate action. And planning is not where our goals seem to end. It's where it truly begins. So right now, I don't want to stress this too much because I think you know what to do. But this activity that we're going to do right now is you're going to list out everything that you could do to get your specific measurable results. These are books you could read. These are people that you could call or message. It's research you need to do. But choose one activity that you will do as soon as we're done with this call, or even right now. I know that when we go to Super Saturdays, like Kelly, if you've gone with Kelly to a Super Saturday, she oftentimes will run away during a lecture because she'll be so inspired that she goes and she like messages a bunch of people, or she'll follow up on conversations she's had, because I've seen her do it. And I've done this too. When I was at the Success Club trip, after I sat there and listened to the top 10 coaches talk about what they did, I went back to my cabin and I locked myself in that room for like an hour, and I just took massive action. Because everything's valid, and list everything out that's going to take to get your specific measurable result. You can list everything out, and they could be little tiny things. Oh, maybe I need to connect more with my upline coach. Maybe I need to talk to other coaches on our team. Maybe I need to watch another YouTube video. Maybe I need to look at the Google Drive. Maybe I need to listen to the Shakeology podcast. Maybe I need to invest in a book. I need to make sure that I reach out to, these people that I know that have been like asking me about what I've been doing, or I'm going to go through my last 10 posts and message everybody that commented or liked it and just start a conversation with them. Like whatever it freaking takes, right? So enough talky, more righty. So any activity that could get you to your goal. Okay. Hopefully you listed out some things, and I really want you to circle the one thing that you're going to do as soon as we're done with this call. It should be something quick and easy. Quick and easy. All right. Step number 4 is to uncover your limiting beliefs. Because these are the things that tend to bring us right back to where we started. And the biggest thing that I've learned from Tony is that a belief is a feeling. So I often thought beliefs were just like set in concrete and set in stone, but our beliefs are just a feeling with certainty. There's something that we had to tell ourselves over and over and over and over again that is become certain to us that is what that means. So the question that we should be asking ourselves, because the questions we ask ourselves are very, very powerful. And the question that we should be asking ourselves is, what would I have to believe in order to feel this way? So if you're really upset about something, or you're upset, or you're feeling like down or whatever, ask yourself in that moment, what would I have to believe in order to feel this way? What are the things that I would have to believe about myself? And then you start listing out, and it's a lot of just old stories about yourself. Oh, I remember when I, wasn't very popular in high school, and, I never could keep friends, and I was never someone that people looked to for advice. And so, I feel like I'm not a good leader because I've never been that person before. And so you start to uncover all these different beliefs and all these different stories. And so when you start realizing, it's like pulling out these cassette tapes of you, and you're starting to pull them out, and you're looking at them, and you're like, oh, that's the story that I didn't think that, I could be successful because I'm not good enough, which everyone pretty much has that story. To some extent, we're all worried about being good enough, being loved and accepted. And so you basically get to start to bring death to the old story of you. It's like taking those cassette tapes. I guess, oh my God, can you believe some people are not going to know what cassette tapes are? I think everybody that's watching this knows what a cassette tape is. But you could pull the cassette tape out, right? And you can start pulling it out. When you pull it out, what happens? You can't play the tape anymore, right? Or like a record. And you just scribble over a record, and you scribble, you take a pen, take a knife, and just cut into it. And then if you try to play it, what happens? It's all distorted. It's not the same. So this is the thing, is that we often start getting going on our goals, and then we're smacked in the face with our old beliefs, our old self-limiting beliefs. And what do we normally do when we start to feel pain? We start to kill it with distraction. My favorite distraction is procrastination. I love to tell myself, oh yeah, I'm just going to sit down for a second. I'm not feeling that awake right now. I'm just going to scroll through Facebook for a little bit, and I distract myself and I put things off. And because the pain of sitting down and actually hustling my ass and creating systems for our freaking team to help people, know what to do when they're a new coach, and help people know how to achieve emerald, and help people know how to become diamonds. Like, instead of sitting down and researching and doing all those things, for me, it feels better. It feels better for me to distract myself, because I have this story in my head that, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never been this kind of leader. I've never been someone that, other people look to in a certain way, because of how I grew up, and blah, 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 blah. And so I end up just killing that pain with the distraction of procrastination. But you need to focus on the result. You got to focus on the result. And so this is our activity that we're going to do really quick. You're going to pick 3 or 5 things, and you're going to write them down. So in order to not follow through with your intended result, what specific beliefs did you have to believe? So what are you having to believe about yourself that's allowing you not to follow through with certain actions, certain, just the things they're the things that you mapped out. They're your action plans, or if you haven't followed through in the past, what specific beliefs did you have to believe in order for that to be true? So pick 3 or 5 right now. Okay. And then next, you're going to write down what new beliefs would you have to believe in order to accomplish your goal. So basically, you're taking those old beliefs, those old stories, and then you're going to replace them with a new story. Okay. All right, so step five, we're going to set yourself up to win. Okay, so far we've gotten disturbed. We've looked in the mirror and looked at our truth. Step two, we got specific about what we want, what the results we want to have, and why that's important to us. Step four, we just did, is we started to uncover some of our self-limiting beliefs and figured out what new beliefs we would have to tell ourselves in order to have the things that we want. So the next step is setting yourself up to win. And this is that these are all those motivational quotes you've seen that are like, say something along the lines of like, learn how to enjoy the journey, right? Like, enjoy the process. It's not about achieving the goal. It's about who you become in the process. And so this is so important. This is something that's totally overlooked. But I know you'll be able to relate to a lot to this based on our fitness journeys. If you're somebody that is a fitness freak, fitness connoisseur, as I like to say, and you've learned to enjoy working out, because that's something a lot of people don't enjoy. It's amazing how much Tony referenced it as far as analogies to working out and in his examples. But it's basically learning how to reward yourself for doing the damn thing, right? So in the beginning of anything that you're trying to work towards, it's just like a kid. You need reinforcement. You need to reward yourself for getting it approximately right. We're not looking for perfection, okay? Like, I can't tell you, I was almost in tears today because I was scrolling my Facebook, I was scrolling my Instagram. I can't tell you how many of the coaches on our team posted a Transformational Tuesday post. It hit me in the gut. Like, it was like, had to swallow, because it takes a lot of fucking guts to post your transformation. Like, I think people scroll Facebook and they're like, oh, okay, whatever, like if they see them all the time. But the things that people share, like when we share parts of our stories, I know there's a coach on my team, I won't call her out, but I know there's somebody on our team that she's starting to share her story again. And she literally couldn't sleep. She couldn't sleep last Thursday because she did a throwback Thursday, couldn't freaking sleep because she was just like putting herself in such a vulnerable place. She's so scared about what people are going to think or say about her. And so it's a big deal, though. It's a big deal. It's a big deal when you become vulnerable and you share yourself. And so I tried to text everybody that I saw today and just be like, I'm so freaking proud of you. I love you. You're amazing. Like, I can't believe you shared that, because it's so important to reward people and reward yourself and give yourself a pat on the back and hug yourself and love yourself, because it's a big deal. When you're doing things that scare the living shit out of you, you need to like celebrate that. Right? You need to, so for people that are starting a workout program, like, they need to be celebrated every day that they decide to say yes. And they go take a walk, they are in one of our challenge groups and they're posting, this is like such a pet peeve of mine when people only like a photo and they don't comment in it, especially if you're a coach in one of our challenge groups and you're just liking people's photos and you're not saying anything to them, because even just something as small as like, that's amazing, or that your recipe looks so good, or wow, you look really great, like, how was your workout? Like, just acknowledging another person. We crave a connection. We crave it. And especially when we're doing something new. I mean, I went to go teach my PIO class today. I literally started the PIO warm-up. This girl saw my disco ball and saw everybody and saw my crazy ass. And then, like, for some reason, she just picked up. She didn't even roll her yoga mat up. She just picked it up in a glob and just walked out. And I was just like, oh, like, I wasn't taking it personally, but it was just like, God, I wonder what was going through her mind. I wonder if I could have rewarded her for coming in, because normally when I teach my classes, I do a big build up and I talk about their focus and where their focus goes, their energy flows, and I set people up for success to try to get in this state that If they stumble, if they fall, if they suck at it, if they're feeling really uncomfortable, that's like actually what we're looking for. We're not looking for perfection, right? So rewarding yourself for getting momentum and taking some action is really, really important. And when we're learning something new, we're not going to be good at it. We're not going to be perfect at it. We're not. And you know this. And for those of you that have children, yet you're so freaking hard on yourself for doing things like this, I don't get it, right? We don't get it. I mean, I get it, but I'm going to say like I don't get it because it doesn't make sense. What would you say to your child that was trying something new for the first time and they weren't good at it and they really wanted to do it, but they weren't good at it because it was their first or second or, fifth time doing it and they're not mastered at it? Would you tell them, oh yeah, you're right. You're dumb. You're stupid. You can never do that. Right? And no. So treat yourself like the little kid that's hidden inside your subconscious. Imagine little you and talk to little you. And so when you're like, oh God, my post was stupid. Only 2 people liked it. Or I sent 15 messages and no one wrote me back. I just must suck at this. Right? Like you're not going to be perfect at it. You're not going to be good at it. So cut yourself some slack. Celebrate your little wins. Make this process enjoyable. Tony calls it, I can't remember what he calls it, scaling or something like that. But he's like, think of the difference in watching a movie. If you watched a movie with no music at all in it, how uninspiring, right? You wouldn't could you imagine watching a movie with no music, no suspense, no nothing? It'd be boring. Right? So when you watch a movie with music, what do you feel? You feel all this emotion. You're into it. You're like, you get sucked into it. And so finding that in our own lives, it might be the fact that, like, for me, I like to listen to music when I do my workouts. I like to do live videos to hold myself accountable. I like to sometimes work out here in the mirror because I like to look at myself. Other things can be that, maybe you like to make the process enjoyable. I know Jasmine and Erin were texting each other in the morning to be like, hey, are you up? Are you doing your workout? Like little things like that make the process enjoyable, right? Because certainty is a survival instinct, and we will avoid pain at all costs. This is one of our 6 basic needs as a human, is that we need the need for certainty, and we also need the need for uncertainty. It's so funny because they're a total paradox, but we need both of them. They're very, very important. Certainty is something that, I can be certain that this is going to happen. When we don't have certainty, like if all of a sudden there was an earthquake here, my only thing on my mind would be like, I just need to live through this, right? Like I wouldn't give a shit if I had done my invites or done my Transformational Tuesday post or talked to any of my coaches or what, it's your survival instinct. You have to be certain that what you're doing is not going to bring you any pain. And so if you start to recondition and start looking at things differently, this is why I will talk to my classes and tell them, they may see working out as a pain. This is painful. I'm not good at it. And I'm taking that pain and I'm saying, no, that's a good thing. That's the pleasure. The pleasure is in the fact that you're not good at this. And I want you to feel that way. If you don't feel that way, you're not doing it right. And so you start to reprogram yourself. And so the fact that we need certainty and then also uncertainty, aka variety, we need variety to our life. We need to add something to it. And then the other 2 needs that are tied into this is that we need the need for growth. So it's a basic human need that we need to grow. And it's also a basic human need that we need love and connection. So this is why tracking how many people you talk to, tracking your workouts, or maybe just tracking your moods for the entire month or whatever, you can, when you see progression, and this is why we tell people in our groups to not live and die by the scale, because we know that thing's a piece of shit and it lies to us all the time, right? So that's why we're like, track your measurements, like use other things to help let you know that you're having growth. And then connection, this is that success partner. These are the accountability groups. And then also contribution's a really big thing. If you can tie contribution, which is another basic human need, into what we're doing. For me, when I work out, I use that as my contribution back to my business. I use that as contribution back to the people that I will eventually help. You know, to me, it's sometimes it's not about the workout. Like, I could give a shit less if I want to work out or not. It's about, this represents more than me. This workout represents the lives that I will change. Like, it's not just about the pain of like, oh, I don't want to wake up early. I don't want to do country heat because it's boring or whatever. It's about like, I know that this is contributing to the greater good of humanity. So with that being said, the next thing that we're going to write down, how long have I been talking? Oh my God, almost like an hour. I think I'm going to get off my live video. Or no. I'm just going to plug this bad boy in. It's going to be the longest live video ever. Hold on. Hi. Oh, hi. Okay. Hi. Okay, so the next activity that you're going to do is to figure out, choose 4 or 5 things on how you can enjoy the process of whatever goal that you had set up for yourself. So what can you do to enjoy the process? Choose 4 or 5 things. Is there somebody that you can work with? Is there like music you can listen to? Could you go do it in a different environment? Could you go somewhere else? You know, just think about it. 4 or 5 things. Okay, I'm gonna quickly finish this, you guys. Step 6 is gonna be easy because it's just repetition of skill. So step 6 is about taking massive action. Oh, hey, wouldn't you know, it's in there again. So Tony talks about this and he goes, you know, people will often say, oh, when should I do this? And he says, when would now be a good time to do it? Because the power of now is so, it's so powerful. He says never to leave the sight of a goal without doing something towards its attainment. So don't sit there and goal set and plan and go, okay, cool. All right, well, let's start this tomorrow. Like, do something now. Burn the bridges, as he likes to say. It's like going to an island and burning the boat. There is no going back. You're not going back. You have to set big goals and big action. Little goals and little action do not inspire you to move mountains, okay? If you're like, well, you know, I want to be emerald by like February 2018, right? That's a little action. That's a little goal. You know, when people tell me, oh, I want to be emerald in like 4 months, I'm like, you are crazy. You are not going to be doing any things that will lead you towards that until it gets close to you know, the actual date. I mean, I'm sure you've had that happen, right? Where you have set the goal, the date is so far away that you think you have all this time. And then once the time comes, you're like, oh shit, this is like in a month. And then you start taking massive action. So that's why setting measurable goals that kind of burn a fire under your ass where you're like, oh, I don't know if I could do this. Like, good. Because you know what happens? The result never changes. You can just set another date, right? You can set another date. The world isn't going to implode if you don't reach your big goal at a certain date, right? You just reassess it and then set a different date. Massive action does not always require a lot of work. I think it turns a lot of people off when they think about massive action because they're like, oh my God, it's so overwhelming, so much stuff to do. But it doesn't mean 5,000 things. It doesn't mean do all of the things. It means do one thing right now, right? And so the easiest thing that you could do for yourself that Tony talks about, he talks about incantations. And I swear, if you are not inspired to listen to your damn Tony Robbins tapes that I have so nicely provided for you in a Dropbox, you're kicked out of this call-in team. No, I'm kidding. But incantations are conditioning your mind and body. So if I work out, okay, if I'm someone that hates to work out, and when I work out, I have an incantation that I say to myself out loud while I work out, and I say, and every day I'm getting stronger and stronger in every way, or every day and in every way I'm getting stronger and stronger, or whatever you want to say, right? Like if I woke up in the morning and I told myself, I am a elite coach. I am an 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 elite coach. I am a premier 2016 coach, and I am a 2017 elite coach. And in 2018, I am a top 10 coach. Like I said it with that passion and that emotion and that state. Like it almost makes me want to fucking cry saying it. Okay, that's weird. So these things are powerful, you guys. They sound crazy, okay? But if Tony Robbins is saying to do them, then I'm going to do them because this guy knows what he's talking about, right? But could you imagine on your way to go to school or on the way to work or cleaning your house or doing your workouts and you're saying this incantation in your head and you are like saying it with passion and fire and you are so certain about it and it's changing your emotional state like what I just freaking did just 2 seconds ago by screaming out what I want and it almost made me cry. You know, when you say it out loud like that, could you imagine repeating that over and over to yourself for like 30 minutes? On your way to school, you're driving. In LA, it's like an hour anywhere you want to go. So if I'm in my car for an hour and I'm just screaming at the top of my lungs, looking like a crazy person, right? I'm an elite coach. I'm an elite coach. I am an elite coach. I am a leader. I am trustworthy. I am amazing. I love myself. I love my life. Like you're just screaming out crazy shit, okay? Like things that you want to have happen, things that are important to you. I guarantee you, if you did that for 30 freaking minutes, not only would you be exhausted, but also you'd be fired up and you would start to believe it. Right? Because there's just something that it does. Those incantations, they're so important. So I strongly encourage you as you're working out tomorrow, you know, to try an incantation while you're working out, especially one that's really, really hard, you know, like if you're doing 22-minute hardcore, right? Being like, I am strong. I am strong. I have endurance. I am strong. Like if you said that in your own head and you said it out a couple times, you know, or that's why they yell out, get some, like, you know, you would just feel the state change and you would feel like, that's like the quickest, easiest, free of charge thing that you could do to be able to start reaching your goals. Okay. So your action item, your activity is what's one small action and what's one big action you can take towards your goals. So this one small action is something you can do immediately. Okay. Because the power of now is important, but a big action will take some time. So this could be like, you may, like he was talking about how somebody was going to schedule like a meeting with somebody, like to go on a hike or, you know, like whatever it is, you know, for me, my big action is sitting down for an hour and locking myself away and really like figuring out a system for new coaches. Like it's just, that's a big action that's going to get me to my goal. That I keep being like, well, you know, okay, I mean, like, I'll get to it when I get to it, which it's been like fucking 3 months and I haven't gotten to it. So I need to get to it. So one small action and one big. And be specific, right? So if I'm going to sit down and for 1 hour and work on creating a system, then I need to schedule it. So I'm going to say I'm going to sit down for 1 hour on Sunday. And then a small action that I could do today is I keep writing it down, so I'm going to say it out loud, is to talk to Noella on a call. It's an easy thing that I can do. Okay, last one. Oh my gosh. This is obviously a lot of content, huh? Okay, step 7 is the power of your environment. It's the power of your environment. You guys, y'all, I think these are things you already know, but we're just going to drive this point home, okay? And I hope this is going to make you feel really, really good about what you're a part of right now. So the power of environment is so important because our lives are a direct reflection of the expectations of our peer groups. So the people that we surround ourselves with, our lives are a direct reflection of what they're willing to accept. right? Whatever their expectations are. He says, what's the analogy he uses? He's like, if you lie down with dogs, you're gonna stand up with fleas, or something like that. But it's really, really true. Like, and I'm sure a lot of you can attest to this, especially, you know, I know with like me and Kelly and all the people that were like super tight knit, like Noella and Sylvia and all the people that I talk to like on a pretty daily basis. When you start to hang around those kinds of people, you just want to do better, right? So if you're someone that like, imagine this, okay, if you're going to learn tennis and you're learning tennis or like you're playing tennis with people that, no, let me use a better example. If you're working out and you come to a workout class and you have a good baseline of fitness, but then you go to a class where people are like CrossFitting or they're doing like Insanity Live or something like that, and it's really, really hard, and it's really like their expectation of their fitness is like up here. And so what do you have? And like imagine everyone's just doing like power jumps and tuck jumps, and they're just like killing it, right? They're doing 8,000 push-ups, and like what happens with you? You're like, dude, this is why a lot of people get addicted to classes, is because they're like, oh my God, when I look around, everyone's doing it, so I have to keep doing it too. You know, and I'm sure you find this if you work out with someone, you know, at your house, like you just start to match that expectation, right? So the people we care about has the power to influence us to a certain extent. And who you spend time with is who you become. And I wanted to stress this too, because he talks about this, but he was like, if you spend a lot of time with your family, but you don't want to be like your family, love your family, because that's just something you're obligated to do. You have to love your family because they're your family, okay? But pick your peer group. Pick the people that you're going to surround yourself with, you know, and get someone who makes you raise your standard. You know, don't get into the good company trap where you're at, like, okay, if two people want to get in shape and they want to lose weight, but both of them have never followed through and they don't really think that working out is a significant part of their life, guess what's going to happen? One's going to say, well, I don't really want to work out. Do you want to go to Starbucks instead? Right? And then the other one's like, oh, thank God, I don't want to work out either. And then they go to Starbucks, right? This is why it's so powerful that what we do as coaches, when people come into our groups, I'm cuckoo crazy about my workouts. And so I have the standard that like that working out is crucial to my existence. Like it's like brushing my teeth. Like I cannot exist without taking care of myself and making my fitness and my health a priority. So when you get around someone like that, this is why people reach out to us as coaches, is because we're that example for them, right? We're somebody that's going to make them raise their standard. You know, but same thing is if you had a success partner here as a coach and your success partner is like, doesn't really give a shit, and some days they're doing, and some days they're inviting, some days they're not, some days they're posting, some days they're not. You know, you guys are at the same level. And so this person, you may be at the person that's at the higher level, but you always need someone that's going to challenge you more. You know, it always is very fulfilling to reach down to someone that isn't at your standard yet and help them get to your standard. But that's why when I mentor people or I talk to my friends or whatever, I can only raise you up to the point where I'm at. You know, and so that's why for me, I'm having to go to Tony Robbins, and I'm having to, you know, continually invest in myself so that I can continue to take myself up to the next level, so that I can reach down and pull people even higher with me. So, you know, he says, focus on your wins, reinforce your hard work with a good peer group, because you don't want someone that just only is like, you need to do this and you need to do that, and this isn't good enough, and blah, blah, blah. This is why recognition is a vital behavior for us, because we need to reinforce the hard work that our challengers are doing, that we're doing as a team, right? And so this is why it's so important to be like, oh my gosh, you're doing such a good job. And it's so important for you to praise yourself for doing a good job. And, you know, if you're wanting to be praised and recognized, you're going to have to actually talk to people and be like, I'm really proud of this thing that I did. So they know that that's going on, so that they can recognize and praise and celebrate you. So don't make this overcomplicated, okay? Don't make this whole process of like, I really have to have this elaborate plan. Done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. So our last activity, and thank you so much for staying on this call for so freaking long. This is just so much information. But your last activity is, who will hold you to a higher standard? Pick somebody. Pick somebody. So I want you to pick an actual human being that you can talk to, but then I also want you to pick a mentor that you can study from far away, like a Tony Robbins. Somebody that you can learn from, somebody that is a business coach, someone that's at personal development, like Brene Brown, or, whoever, Chalene Johnson, like whoever resonates with you. Okay, so pick someone to hold you to a higher standard. Someone that will make you follow through. That's a really important thing too, to know. Someone that you're not going to want to let down. Someone that is going to call you out, right? If you're not doing your shit. All right, so I'm going to turn off my live video. I'm going to stop the share.